Hello everybody, BloodmanFT here, and we're going to be doing the Persona 3 review part 5. So, last where we left off, we just finished taking out, I believe, Chariot and Justice, and we were talking about the seeds of like a traitor and all that, and the poison flower. Hold on, the camera's kind of fuzzy. There we go, much better. So yeah, we were talking about a traitor rising up and everything. Something that I thought after this chapter that I think I can talk about now anyways is I think that flower might be a Ikutsuki. I still think it's Junpei, but I feel like maybe that would be too obvious. Like, I'm still sticking with Junpei, especially after what's happened. But I think Ikutsuki has something to do with Strega as well now, for sure. This man, he's not fooling me, bro. There's no way we're going to get through this game, and Ikutsuki's just some casual dude who's just an idiot like this. And he's out here, because honest to God, he's on some shady stuff. The way he's recruiting people, I don't know how he's doing it. I wouldn't be surprised if he's using methods like Strega, or if he runs Strega or some type of crap. Because he seems like almost obsessed with just gathering as many Persona users, and we don't understand his motives. Like, it would be really simple and kind of dumb if he was just like, yeah, I don't like the shadows. Like, give us something, game. Come on. Have him hint that Shadows killed his mom or something, you know? And he's now obsessed with gathering Persona users to beat Shadows. Boom. Even something like that. I wouldn't believe it, but that would help. It would help me not be so suspicious towards him. Alright. This is going to be a long one, too. Because this chapter covered a lot of stuff. And I always take notes now. Unlike Trails of Cold Steel, I take like a list of notes, so I have more structure. So, right after we beat Justice, we have to go into the command room, and we see that Koro, the dog that beat the Shadow at the shrine, is in a seized uniform. And I was like, well, there it is. We always need a pet. So, the dog is going to fight with us. And when I was sitting there, I was like, bro, Ikutsuki cleared that? Really? He cleared for a dog to join the team. I was like, this man's desperate. So, yeah, I'm like, okay, interesting. So we go in, I take him immediately because I want to see what Bro can do. So we run in there with him on the team. And I like running him with Aegis because Aegis always translates. Alright, so we go into battle. I'm like, let's see it. Boom. Look at that. Bro's getting ready. Boom! Ooh, the freaking... I was like, yo, that goes hard. He's like a hellhound. Cerberus. And the all-out attack is awesome, dude. This is really, really cool. And I was like, yo, Koro-chan holds the freaking knife. Bro holds a knife in his mouth. Why is Bro so cool? Like, he's infinitely better than Morgana and Teddy. Like, come on, man. That's not even close. That's not fair. How do we go from the best boy to Teddy and then Morgana? And I'm not, like, trying to hate on Morgana. I am hating on Teddy. But, like, you know, Morgana... Obviously, Morgana had more character depth. Obviously. As a character, Morgana was a lot more, like, important, I believe. But, you know, let's be honest. Koro-chan's best. That's the best pet. So, Koro's on the team. We check out his 3G. His 3G does some insane single target damage. Like, that's actually nuts. And I got an achievement for dealing more than 900 damage in one attack from it. I was like, wow, that's insane. So yeah, his 3G's awesome. Great single target DPS. We're fighting through Tartarus, and we reach floor 100. Cool. You know, that's awesome. We're doing more of the, I read the name of the door for the dungeon inside the dungeon. We maxed out Maya's social link, the Hermit. And I'm pretty sure Maya is, what's-her-face? Our homeroom teacher? I think I've already said this before, but like the way she talked crap about like Mr. E or whatever, and then we hear her talking crap about him in the real world. I was like, that seems like her, maybe. Very scuffed Kawakami, but then we're getting testing. Ikutsuki recommends that everyone goes and gets a checkup. I'm like, okay. And they keep us after a lot longer. And like the way he's explaining, like, oh, your powers are so different, that's why we did more testing. I don't buy it, bro. I don't buy it. I don't care, man. He's freaking weird.
Good to hear.
Like, there's no way he isn't suspicious to people, right? So yeah, this is like a super important part. And I do think that this was set up, now that I think about it even more. On the way back, since we stayed so much later for the examination, we ran into Takaya during the dark hour. And I straight up think that was set up. I do think Ikutsuki is the leader of Strega. I'm not gonna lie. And I don't think that's too much of a stretch at this point. There's been too many coincidences. Way too many coincidences. He's like, oh, I got a call. Oh, whoops, a call. Whoops, I have to... Hey, man, I have to take this. You go on ahead. I know the dark hour is approaching. Go on ahead. And then we freaking run into him. So, yeah, we run to Takaya. He's facing this giant, ugly shadow. I forgot the name of it, but I remember it in 5.
I'd not be foolish enough to turn my back on such a predator. And on top of that, we have an unexpected guest.
So I'm like, oh my god, are we finally gonna get to see his power?
Situation, all things considered. So, given this little predicament. So
it's like, how do you intend to partake?
How do you intend to partake?
I'm gonna help you, bro. Are you serious? You may be a crazy looking weirdo, but I'll help you out, man. So I'm like, alright, let's get it. Battle time. Let's see what he can do.
Is it not? Well then, shall we begin?
This was so cool, dude.
What to do? So that's your strategy.
Yes, sir. Buff my attack. And we did learn something extremely interesting about Strega, but I'll cover it when I get there. So obviously they're not gonna let us do damage. Bro's just using his gun, and I'm like, can you use your persona? I mean, he's being smart. I was like, okay, not revealing his ability.
That was quite the spectacle. But it's time to end this.
I was like, uh-oh, it's time to end this?
As a reward for your efforts, let me show
Uh-oh.
you how.
Bro's hitting the... Dude, his persona is so sick. That thing is insane looking.
The finale was
Look at that. That is so cool. So freaking cool. And it's interesting because he didn't summon his persona with an evoker. And we see that the shadow dropped something, which is also an evoker. The shadow dropped an evoker.
ability is truly fascinating.
And now with hindsight, I understand this scene a lot more.
Isn't it?
So he starts to realize that we can use different personas, which is bad. So he's like, you know, I'm gonna take my leave. Mitsuru pulls up. She's like, all right, let's go home. Let's see, what else? Oh, we have like the little festival. And I went with Mitsuru and Aigis. It was very cool. I'm not really gonna spend too much time on this. It was very wholesome. It's just Aigis trying to become more human and understand things. Okay, here's another important point. So Junpei's out here walking around, like summer break's almost over. Then it happens. Again, I'm still thinking every time I see Junpei now, I'm like, I know something bad's gonna happen. So he meets her, a member of Strega, and of course he does not know who she is because she didn't show up for the chariot justice ambush. She didn't show up there.
What the heck is she drawing then? There's nothing interesting here.
So he's like pestering her, asking her about her drawings and stuff. She's being mean and rude and all that. So I'll keep it short there. Basically, he's like, you know, what was that weird drawing? How can she stand to wear that outfit in the heat? Basically like, what a weirdo. Oh well.
What's with those funky colors?
Fascination lies more with
So
me.
we're walking Koro-chan, and we run into
There's no
homeless
need for
man
us to
Takaya
talk.
again.
Now is hardly the time.
We go up into the shrine.
Come
And he's
along.
like, I will answer one question that you want. And I'm like, okay, why are you getting in our way? I asked that, well, he lets us ask the question because he's like, you know, I owe you. So it's definitely an interesting moment where it's like the clashing ideals.
Almost 5,000 people die.
And, you know,
in
he
car
brings up the whole
accidents
point
every
of car
year,
accidents, and we don't see an
there is
uproar
no
against
outcry
cars.
against the existence of cars.
So why are you trying to
Why
get
do you
rid of
suppose
shadows?
that
Just
is?
because, you know,
It is
people
because
die
we value
from
our own convenience over the lives of others.
freaking the disease. I forgot the name of it. Syndrome,
Why should
the
we
apathy
give up the
syndrome.
powers we were bestowed?
And in my head, I'm like, okay, well, Takaya, cars have infinitely
know
more
what to
uses
save
than
your
just crashing into
comrades?
people and dying.
You
Sorry,
are being
man, but
trapped
that's
by
not.
misguided
You're
ways.
not really making sense here. I want to agree with him. I think it'd be cool. In Persona 5,
Giving up
I
your
agreed
own
with
life to
Maruki,
save others
and to a
is
certain
simply
degree,
still
I
reason
I
for
felt more
fighting
bad
is
for
one of
Akechi. I didn't really
obsession.
agree with him, but I can't really, you know,
Do you
vibe with his
continue to
reasoning right
deny
now.
it
As of
because
now,
you
it's just
can't
kind of mid.
accept the truth?
So we
There
learn
is no
about,
need to
well, he
rush
gives
your
us a piece of
decision.
paper. It says the new gear has eased summoning, but we need to make new safety cartridges before handing them off to MK. The evoker weight is also an urgent matter. Fortunately, ample test subjects remain too. Wow, now that I'm reading that again, holy crap, I'm right. I had a theory. Oh my god. Wait, that's actually perfect. Holy crap. Okay, I have to remember to come back to this specific moment. I'm going to screenshot this just so I can have it up. Wow. See, now that I've learned so much in this current chapter, looking back at the start of the chapter, I understand so much more. So we do some crafting. Yep. We keep climbing. Nothing different there. Okay, so Akihiko again is pestering Shinji, and Ken is spying on them. He's listening, and after they leave, he's like, 2 years ago? I'm like, okay, what's up with Ken? And obviously, I have my theory again still with Ken now, because I learned so much. He's like, it's him, so his name is Shinji. I'm like, okay, so Ken has business with Shinji for some reason. I wonder why. And then this very same day, or not the same day, 4 days later,
Come on in.
Ikutsuki's like, all right, come in. He brings us in for a meeting.
I hope I'm not interrupting.
And then here we go. Ken walks in and he is like, yeah, Ken's gonna be joining you. And at this point, I'm like, okay,
Based on our
Ikutsuki
testing results,
has
we've
really,
confirmed
like,
he has more than
is it
enough potential.
morals? Yeah,
So,
he's
I decided to call
he's
this
lacking
meeting
in
to introduce
morals.
him to the rest of the
So
school.
he recruits a child, and I think this is also one of the reasons why I'm thinking like this now. I'm like, bro, he
Besides,
recruited a child.
we've already confirmed
He
has
recruited a
potential.
dog
With
and a
training, he
child
should be a
now.
valuable
This
asset
isn't
to the team.
desperation anymore. He's creepy.
Say he was okay with this?
Why is he doing this?
Actually, it was my idea to
Bro
do
would
it.
get a freaking newborn infant
I
out
feel
the
like I can
womb
help
and
too.
freaking
And
slap them in
I think
seas
I finally
if it had a
understand why I
persona.
have this power.
So yeah, I think that's problematic. That's super problematic.
As you can see,
Akihiko's super
it was
against
his own
it, and I
decision.
think I understand why.
Looking forward to working with you.
So yeah, next day, Junpei runs into the girl again, and he's annoying her again. He's like, hey, what's up? You working on a painting, a drawing, something? And, you know, he's like, when you're done, I'd like to see it. Now, at this point, I know that she knows he's a member of C's. I'm like, oh, God, Junpei, don't get baited, please, bro. So Junpei meets her again, and he's annoying her once more. She tries to leave. She's like, you know, mind your own business. But then he notices that she's bleeding, or she tells him to mind his own business because he's like, I can help you if you're bleeding. So that's interesting. I was like, okay, she's bleeding randomly. Weird. So right when she's about to leave, she says her name, Chidori.
My name.
Her name's Chidori. We learned that. I'm like, okay, interesting. And she's like, well, if you want to see my drawing finished, you know where to find me. So we head into the dungeon. Ken's like, bring me in. I'm like, sure, Ken, I'll bring you in. We're getting so many members so fast, it's kind of overwhelming. So yeah, his persona is actually sick. Nemesis, it looks so cool. But unfortunately, the section where I brought him in was not really good for him. So I kind of benched him. No big deal, though. Nothing personal. Okay, we still do some more dungeon running, dungeon crawling. Oh, so we get to floor... Look at this, look at this. We get the flash grenade, and then we get sexy armor. And I'm like, Floor 112. Now remember, I was like, I wonder if Mitsuru has something like with Yukari. Bro, look at that! Whoa! Atlas! Atlas! I mean, the fit definitely shows that she's got nothing going on, if I'm being honest. But still, modders, do your job. I mean, I know they probably already have something out for her, so I'll have to check that out. But I don't want to go on the Nexus mods because a lot of spoilers happen to be on Nexus mods whenever you go to any game. So I'd like to just wait until I finish the game, then I'll go on Nexus mods. Like, look at that outfit, bro. Look at it. Oh my god. Holy crap. I have to show video of her freaking 3rd as well. It looks so good, dude. Holy crap. Yo, I'm sorry, bro. Mitsuru's best girl. Like, that's not even a competition. Also, even though I got maxed intelligence, they still won't let me start her social link. And I'm like, what? Why? What's happening? It's getting really, really annoying. So, I don't know what I have to wait for. I was able to start Yukari's because I hit max charm. So, whatever, I guess. It is what it is. Gotta deal with it. Oh yeah, we get a new song for the school. Now that summer break is over, we're in the next school year. And this new song kind of goes hard. It gives me more Persona 4 vibes than anything. It really feels like Persona 4. That song, I forgot the name of it. I mean, honestly, this one goes harder. I like it more. It sounds really, really good. Okay. So next up, Aigis comes out in a school uniform. She's like, I'm gonna be joining you guys. And I'm like, okay, well, okay. Nothing really to really explain there. I mean, we knew she was gonna come. Yeah, let's see, what else, we meet up with Shinji, and we tag along with Akihiko to meet Shinji, and Akihiko's like, bro, you gotta join. Amada joined the team. And then he has a reaction, and then almost immediately he's like, alright, I'll join. I was like, what? Just like that? Okay. So now Shinji's on the team. So I'm like, dang, man, we're getting so many members. It's kind of crazy. So we head to Tartarus, I believe. Oh, no. Junpei meets Chidori again. And then, here we go. She's like, what makes you feel alive? And then he's like, I get to play a hero, and that makes me feel alive. And I'm like, Junpei, stop, please. Please. So he basically leaks that he is, in C's, even though she already knew that. And then he lies and says that he's the leader, which was the biggest mistake he made. So she's like, huh, okay. Bet. Bro does not know what he's causing. He's kind of dumb. So I go into Tartarus, I bring Shinji. I'm like, all right, let's test Shinji out. Obviously, I don't really plan. I didn't plan on using him much at this point, but his ability is pretty cool, or his persona. And I do have a theory about his persona as well now. Also, Aigis has a cannon arm now. Has that always been there? I don't remember that being there, right? She normally when you do a basic attack, it just be like brrr, double mini machine guns. Now it's a giant cannon. Oh no, it's because when I equip the weapon. Yeah, I forgot. Okay, that's why. Dang. Okay, so yeah. Alright, so it's the night of the full moon. It's time for the next boss. Junpei is walking around, and then he gets jumped by Chidori. I'm like, ah, great, cool. So it's time for us to... Okay, now that I'm looking back at this again, Ikutsuki, bro. So everyone's like, where the heck is Junpei? Where is he? And she's like, Fuka's like, should I look for him just in case?
No.
Dude, he's an op! He's an op! Keep in mind, now that we know this, she abducted him and they were on the roof of not Tartarus, the dorm roof. So while we are in here doing our team meeting, he is above us on the roof.
Let's go.
And she's like, should I take time to look for him? And then Ikutsuki says, no, it's okay. You're young. Sometimes you get in one of those moods.
Did Junpei say anything
Bro,
about this?
he literally knew she was up there. And if Fuka decided to scan for Junpei, she'd be like, oh, he's on the ceiling, or on the roof. Okay, let's go get him.
Any luck?
Bro, I swear to God, it's so obvious. It's too obvious. This man,
It seems so close, but
this man is the, whoa.
All right, we can split up and search for it.
This man is an op. He is the leader of Strega. That's what I'm saying. I knew he was creepy from the very beginning,
this is what I'm
and
here for.
I think he's running like a joint operation here. This is so interesting.
Feel the movement of the earth.
So we go into the mall, and one of the things that Fuka is going through right now, I believe, is she's also having confidence issues. That she's not able to like find things, scan for things. It's kind of sad to see, really.
Shrouds me from the truth.
But yeah, I think
Hey, is
she
okay?
is going to have like her next big
Don't break her
arc soon.
concentration.
This is
Because she's having her own issues. Also, I want to mention real quick before I move on, with Koro, I love his single target 3G damage, and his crit rate buff is really nice.
Oh, wow.
Shinji, his
Perhaps the way
3G
to
damage
the
is
power cables
absolutely
underground,
nuts.
back when the
And
island
then
was
with
still being
Ken,
developed.
his 3G
This is
spam
where
when
the
he's
main
below
power
half
station was
SP
located.
is fantastic. It's really, really good.
Underground cables.
So I think that's very cool.
Yes,
Um,
a large number of power cables remain underground.
Let's
in
see,
a
what else,
sprawling network,
else?
Much like a web.
So I'm trying to mark things off.
Her ability?
I have the
Thank you,
checklist.
Aigis.
Okay,
I figured it
so
out now. It's not that the cables are interfering. The cables
Fuka is
themselves
able to
are
scan, and she's like, it's underground. We learn it's in the power cords, and it turns out the shadow is like the power circuits under our feet. It's kind of like the first boss where it took over the tram.
It's covering this entire area.
Okay, so we go back to Junpei, who is on the roof.
Hiding underground, huh?
I want you to do something for me. I have orders
Kissy
for
and
you to
Op.
pass
I'm
along
actually
to
so
you.
proud that I'm
You can
calling
always
this.
communicate with
I'm proud that I
others.
called this from the beginning. Bro is creepy.
My team.
So Chidori's like, I want you to call off
Do as I say.
the operation tonight and all operations. And then I'm like,
All you have to do is
aha,
call
but
off
he's
the
not the
operation.
leader. He has no say.
Easy.
I don't even put
I'm not
Junpei on the
just the one
team.
tonight.
I wouldn't listen to
All
him.
of
I
them.
don't care. So it's time for the operation. And this one was actually tricky just because I brought in Yukari, Aigis, and Mitsuru. And, well, Aigis and Yukari are weak to lightning. So they were kind of getting one shot over and over. So I had to restart. I'm glad I always save before we go into a fight. I'll show Mitsuru's Thursday right there because we were able to get that off. I at least wanted to see it in her new outfit.
Shall I move to strike?
So let's see it, let's see it, let's see it. What's it at, baby? Look at that. Look at that. Maybe you said she was, if she had something she was working with, this fit would go way, way harder, but my god. Woo! Me too. But yeah, I basically go back in, and instead I bring in the boys. All the boys, because the boys are the ones who can actually fight this. I think it's very obvious they set that up on purpose. So Ken, Shinji, and Akihiko. Because a lot of them either have lightning resistances. Ken has a magic reflection barrier, which is like god tier here because all it does is magic. It was a long fight. It was 15 minutes long. It was a little tricky at times. It was just more managing the magic reflection with Ken. And when we ran out of SP on Ken, well, we were just spamming third-Gs. That was when I swapped from playing passive. Not passive. That's where I swapped from playing, like, playing safe and balanced. And then I just went full aggro. I was like, okay, Ken is out of SP, but his third-G charges like every 2 turns, so let's go. We were able to finish it off with our boy, Shinji, with his insane nuke damage. And we realized that he's, like, hurting himself. His persona causes self-harm, which is interesting. So we do 1,800 damage, and we finish it off. So that's cool and all. Finish it off. Fuka's like, I sense Junpei on the roof of the dorms. So Chidori says, I see it through Medea's eyes. So she's basically Strega's Fuka, right?
That's not important.
So the entire squad pulls up, and here we go. I'm gonna play this.
An evoker.
She gets ready to summon her persona,
Medea, come.
and finally Junpei does something good. So bro freaking body just freaking slams into her. We take her evoker, and it's over. Give it back.
But we
Nope.
let you use
Sorry.
this.
And look what happens when this man Ikutsuki runs up. What's all the fuss about?
Aegis, restrain her.
When did she?
Understood. Medea!
What did she? And listen to his reaction again.
I didn't even.
Fuka's, I understand. She said, I didn't even censor her to now. This is the only thing I can do, and yet. She's having issues, confidence problems. You're fine, Fuka. But Ikutsuki, even we couldn't censor her. She must have the ability to conceal her presence. Man, I certainly didn't have the slightest clue she was here. Shut up, Ikutsuki. Jesus. Now, there are 2 things that I take from this. Either he's just lying and being a moron and he sucks at lying, or he is their leader and he legit didn't realize that she was going to go on her own and try to do this.
Medea, I'm.
Like one of these things where she, on her own, ran into Shinji and wanted to do her own thing to, you know, capture him and end this whole Seas versus Strega conflict. She made her own solo move, and he's like, I didn't have any idea that she was going to do this. And he was like, why is she here? Why the heck would he say, why is she here, when we supposedly don't know? We supposedly don't freaking know about, her. So what's up with that? Why does Ikutsuki know? So we capture her. She's in the hospital room. That's cool and all. I was like, that's good for us. So Jin is talking to Takaya, and we learned something massive. So it seems the members of Strega were experimented on, probably as children. The evoker that Jin picked up, that Takaya picked up off of that shadow that night, is the first prototype model evoker. The way it worked, though, it was problematic because whenever they summoned their persona with it, the persona was much stronger and they couldn't control it. It was unstable. So we learned that it ended up killing a lot of people, a lot of persona users. That's why he does not use an evoker. You know, Jin asked about that. Maybe Jin wasn't one of the people who was experimented on, because out of the 3, he definitely seems to be the most mentally stable, I think, in my opinion. But yeah, then Takai's like, you know, he says he doesn't need a tool to show his, to prove his resolve. So I guess his power is something more like, you know, I don't need an invoker to summon my persona, which is my special thing. But at the same time, I feel like he can use it if he wanted to. But he's like, you know, main character is more special. He's way cooler. He can use multiple. So nobody can get through to Chidori, but Junpei is able to, which is interesting. I ship it. Why not? We unlocked the Lovers Arcana through Yukari, finally. Everyone's up here in the hospital room, and suddenly Chidori starts choking. Then we see a persona choking her out. It's about to kill her. I'm like, that's not good.
There's something right there. An enemy?
So Shinji's like, move, and then he injects her with something, and it stops it. A suppressant. And at this moment, I was like, oh my god, I get it now.
Relax.
Her persona went berserk. It happens. Remember, they were giving him suppressants way earlier in the game.
Happens.
I was like, ooh.
You guys
Ooh, okay. I see where this is going.
for a second. They're not like us.
They can't fully control their
Can't fully
personas.
Control their personas. That's why they need to take suppressants. To keep their personas from killing them.
Misuru's like, what? What the heck?
Wait. Do you know?
Like, do you know something about Strega? Yeah.
Some things you only pick up stepping off the
So he dips, and Akihiko chases after him.
The rest is up to you.
Chidori's like,
Shinji!
why the heck do you care? And Junpei's like, oh, I love you, though, but I don't want you to die. I was like, it's a weird ship, but okay, I ship it. Why not?
Junpei?
So this is where I was like, okay, I'm putting everything together now. Akihiko's like, why do you have those suppressants? I've heard about what they do. They rain a persona when the user can't control it.
Taken to rein in a persona when the user can't control.
Side effects. We don't know about side effects yet, but it seems like there are bad side effects. He's like, you're not taking them, are you? He's like, well, I was, but he's like, I don't need to anymore.
Answer me! I don't have to tell you shit.
Akihiko's voice actor
Why are
cooked
you
here.
always like this? Save it. I've heard it all before. You think I'm wasting my power?
Uh-oh.
You can't stand the sight of someone so half-assed, right? I'm sick.
Bro
of
gets
your
mad.
pre-
Bink! It's like, shut up, Shinji.
Shit.
You're an idiot.
You don't understand at all.
Here we go.
You should already know.
The explanation.
10 years ago,
When the orphanage burned down, I couldn't save my sister.
I couldn't save
10 years
my
ago.
sister. Back then, I wasn't strong enough.
Wasn't strong enough to get past the adults holding me back to even try.
That's why I try so hard. I thought you felt the
They
same
had
way.
promised to get
We
strong
promised each other
together.
to become strong enough to do what
And he's like, there's something I need to take care of when he asks about the side effects.
So what?
Okay, so let me explain what I think is going on now. I have to get my thoughts out because I think I'm right about this. I think I'm actually nailing this on the head. Because past this point, it's just mostly... Okay, actually, the last thing that has to do with the story, we'll cover this. Chidori is able to heal things. She healed a wilting flower, but she said she gave it some of her, her freaking energy. I think she's basically killing herself to give life to other things, which is interesting.
A little bit of my energy.
And she said the only thing in her childhood she remembered was being surrounded by white. Everything white. So I guess like a solitary confinement type of thing. But yeah, that's where we stopped in the story. So now I'm going to cover what I think. And it also has to do with that screenshot that I took, the piece of paper from Takaya. So, I believe the members of Strega... Hold on, let me actually cross out a lot of this stuff that I already covered. Also, I do think Junpei fell in love with Chidori, and I think he's going to be tempted to free her from the hospital and join Strega along with her. That's what I think. I think he's going to do that. Yep. Okay, real quick. I think once we officially start fighting Strega members, like probably end of the game type thing, I think once their backs are against the wall, they will use the crazy prototype evoker to let their persona go berserk. That's what I think is going to happen. So yeah, cross that off as well. She the persona. Yep. Okay. I believe 10 years ago, we know 10 years ago we had the explosion, the meltdown in relation to the Kirijo labs. Um, I believe all the members of Strega, with the exception of maybe Jin, were in the same orphanage as Akihiko, Shinji, and Akihiko's sister. I believe a group or an individual who I believe is Ikutsuki experimented on these children and forced personas upon them using the prototype evoker. I believe the persona started going berserk, started killing the kids, which is why Takaya has this piece of paper that says the new gear has eased summoning, but we need to make new safety cartridges before handing them off to MK. I think MK is either the initials for the name of the orphanage or the identity of Ikutsuki. Maybe he has another alias. And before they hand off a new evoker to him, they need to make it safer. And then it says the evoker weight is also an urgent matter. I believe that is, it seems useless. It seems like that's just flavor text, really not important. But I think it's important because they're using it on children. It would make sense if a child can't lift up a super heavy, basically a heavy gun, right? So they need to make it lightweight so a child can use it. And then it says, fortunately, ample test subjects remain too. And I think that's what they refer to as the orphanage. The children are the test subjects, and they have plenty of them to experiment on. That's my prediction. I think I'm getting that right. I'm pretty sure I've nailed that on the head. So I believe when the orphanage burned down, maybe that was them trying to cover their skin. They were like, the lab exploded. Crap. We got to cover our skin. Burn down the orphanage. And they killed a lot of children in there. I think Ken is related to the orphanage in some way. And I think, because we heard Shinji saying, he doesn't want that to happen again. We don't know what that is. And then I think, okay, well, he's taking suppressants. Maybe Shinji was one of the children who was experimented on and he got forced to have this persona. Maybe his persona went berserk and killed someone related to Ken. Maybe his persona killed Ken's parents. Because we know Ken's parents aren't here. I don't think they're alive. I think he's an orphan now. But I was like, okay, maybe Shinji, right? Ikutsuki runs this experiment on a bunch of children in the orphanage. The children in the orphanage develop personas that they can't control, and they go berserk. That branches off to Shinji's persona going berserk and killing Ken's parents, who was completely unrelated at first, but now he's tied in because his parents are dead because of Shinji. Akihiko's tied in because his sister died in a fire. Akihiko wasn't experimented on, I don't think, because it seems like his persona is in control. He's in control of it. So yeah, let me cross those off. Boom. Yep. I basically called this it's like a one-to-one of, if you've ever watched Fairy Tail, the Oracion Seis. This is an arc where this group of villains went through the same exact torment as one of our main characters, Urza, where Urza grew up in the Tower of Heaven, basically doing slave labor, building a tower, and we find out that all these members of Oracion Seis, the villain group, were also from that same tower. I think this orphanage is a key component of this story. We need to learn more about it. And I do think Ikutsuki ran the orphanage. I think so. Yeah, because he knew both Mitsuru and Akihiko back when they were younger. Dude, what if he caused the meltdown at the Kirijo labs while he was experimenting on children at an orphanage? Because here's the thing. I think the incident happened with Shinji after he joined Seiza initially. Then he left because maybe he killed Ken's parents. Right? That's my theory. I think I've nailed this on the head. This has been a fantastic chapter, and I'm loving the story a lot. The whole plot with the orphanage is something that I'm very interested in now. And I gotta admit, like, this story is just fantastic. It's so good, dude. But yeah, I think that's about it. I'm still working on editing videos, so by the time you see this part, which is part 5, I'll probably be done with the game, maybe. I don't know if the game's much longer than this, but yeah, my editing process has been a lot slower than I've wanted it to be because of my classes. I've been very busy. But yeah, I've been trying to edit as fast as I can. Like, as of right now, of me recording this video, I just put out the first video. Like, yesterday, I believe. Yesterday? Let me check. Yeah, 18 hours ago, I posted the part 1 review. So, we're behind by a lot. We are behind, and I need to improve on that. But yeah, thanks everyone who tuned in. I hope you've been enjoying my review series so far. I only do this for very special games to me, in my opinion. Trails of Cold Steel was the first time I started actually doing a consistent review series. Limbus Company was next, just because I love Limbus Company, love Project Moon, and now Persona 3. I don't know if there will be another series that I do for it anytime soon. Maybe. I mean, I could go and play Persona 4 again, because like I said before, I only played through it one time and got, like, you know, the default bad ending. Or not bad ending, I don't think. I got a default ending, and I just left it on that. I'm very hesitant to go back and play through Persona 4 again. I don't know why. I definitely think it's my least favorite Persona game. And I'm not saying it's bad, but it's just my least favorite. And obviously I'm not going to play through 5 and Royal, because I've already played through both. And I've gotten the true ending, the bad ending, all that. So it'd be kind of pointless. I'd just be lying about my reactions. And as you guys know, I hate that. I think there's no bigger waste of time than straight up playing an entire game and then pretending to play it over again and, like, fake my reactions to everything. That is the biggest waste of time ever. Sorry, I was getting a little angry there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you in part 6. And as always, Stan Mitsuru.